Okay, before we start this video, just know that this video is gonna contain me critiquing things, and to be more specific, Dyle and Dandy, their twisted form, their trinkets, and how they work in the game. So if you're like one of those people who are like, no, Quo did a good job, you are just a hater, then I wouldn't advise you to watch this video. So yeah, daylight us. Okay, so today I'm gonna be talking about kind of a problem with this update. This update was like a pretty good update overall though, but I feel like there's one part of it that is kind of bad. Like they definitely could have did better or put more thought into this part. And I'm gonna be talking about Dyle and Dandy's trinkets and their twisteds in game. I don't have that much to say, so if you agree with this video, then make sure you like it. And if you like my content, then subscribe to become a lighter. Okay, that was kind of terrible, I'm sorry. But other than that, let's start. We know right now that the way to encounter Dyle is very unique compared to Dandy. Instead of hoping and basically praying that your teammate doesn't buy from the shop, you can actually choose the car to encounter Dyle each run. But completing Dyle's research isn't even that worth it. If you don't know already, Dyle's trinket basically is a train whistle, and what it does is it makes it so you're immune to get the slowness debuff, but that's pretty terrible. Because what would be a good situation where having the immunity to slowness is good, especially when you only have 2 trinket slots in the game. This could be helpful if you're like trying to distract the character like V or something, but that's very situational and you're able to distract her without, like, you know, that trinket. So what's the point? And if you're not distracting, then it's the same thing. You would benefit more from like a extracting trinket. But the main problem with this is that Dyle is a lethal twisted, just like Dandy, but both of their trinkets are pretty bad. Don't get me wrong though, Dandy's trinket is definitely like more usable, I guess you can say, but it's still really not that great. It's basically decent. And this isn't to say like that they did a bad job with like Dyle or Dandy or anything, but I'm saying like if they're the only lethal twisteds in the game, I feel like they should at least have really good trinkets. Like their research is technically harder to get than any other twisted in the game, but they don't even really have like a good trinket use. There are also a lot of people who are a little bit upset about this, because they figured that if you're grinding this much for a lethal twisted in their research, why would you have to, like, you know, only do all of that work just for a bad trinket? But I actually have an idea to make this trinket better. What if the train whistle basically inverted all of the effects in the game? What I mean by this is, what if instead of just getting rid of the slowness debuff, it turns it into a speed buff? So if you were in a situation where you had like slowness 2 and slowness 2 has like a debuff of 50%, then instead of just nullifying that and getting rid of it, why don't you make it so it's plus 50% speed? And instead of just having that only for speed, make it for every debuff in the game. So for the debuff Confuse, you gain extraction speed if Shelly is on your floor or something like that. If you get the illness debuff, it gives you a higher skill check chance instead of just a lower skill check chance. In my opinion, this would make the trinket pretty good. It won't be like one of the best trinkets, but it will definitely be like a really fun trinket to use. Like again, I'm not complaining about like the actual challenge floor or the challenge card or anything like that. I'm only really complaining about Dyle's trinket and nothing else. So don't attack me. But I really like how Quell made it so that even if you do have like auto research for Dyle, then it's still a reason to do his challenge, because getting a 50 stamina buff is pretty crazy. So doing the challenge would be really worth it. Well, either way, you're forced to do it, because if you want to do like a long run, then you're gonna have to claim that card eventually. So yeah, but I already kind of hinted at this earlier, but moving on to Dandy, they need to basically rework Dandy. I'm sorry. Like I know Quell already said that Dandy got like optimized and stuff like that, but he's basically like the main character of Dandy's world, but he plays a very minimum role in like the gameplay of it. Like you have to do something so specific in order to even be able to see Dandy, and even if you do see him, there's no benefit to it whatsoever, because they showed that they can make like a good reward for seeing a lethal twisted like they did with Dyle in this update. So my idea with this is that they should definitely, you know, like rework it or rework Dandy. So they could either do the same thing as Dyle and give Dandy his own car and like challenge floor, but instead of 50 stamina, well, they could do 50 stamina, but instead of that, they could probably do like, you know, you gain like 200 tapes or something like that. But instead, you will be able to do that challenge multiple times. So there will be no limit on the cards. So if you're like in a situation where you need tapes, you could just pick that car when you do have the chance and get the tapes. And this also like forces basically a challenge on you, because say if you're like in a situation where you make it to a high enough floor where you don't have any more cards left, but then the game will automatically force you to do a challenge floor. But when you get to that point, probably don't make it so it's like every other floor, because that could get a little bit crazy, because you get a card thing for every odd floor. So ew, do y'all hear that? Oh, that's an iCore leak. But yeah, instead of making it every odd floor, probably make it like every other odd floor, so it's not like too close together or something like that. And like again, this is only one of like the ideas that I came up with, but there's way more ways they can like rework Dandy in this, you know, in this context. And you know, they probably could rework Dandy's Trinket too, because, well, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's like, it's basically just there. It's not like good, it's not bad. And you know what? Dandy's Trinket will actually probably be one of the best trinkets in the game as it is right now. But the problem we have with that is that we only have 2 trinket slots. Like imagine if you have 3 trinket slots and then have Dandy's Trinket. That could be really good, because you can still have like your 2 main trinkets that you use, and then you'll have like an additional buff that will be really good. But Dyle's Trinket, probably not so much, because it's bad either way. I'm sorry. But you know, that's basically it for what I have to say about this certain part of the game, because like the rest of the update is actually like pretty good, so like there's nothing to really like critique. Because, you know, like as long as they keep adding floor events and stuff like this, like more challenges, then the game will actually be pretty good and it will be like revived. Well, it wasn't dead before this update, but it was like heading in that direction, so like yeah. But one last thing is, I don't know when they're gonna fix matchmaking, because like, oh my god, because I don't even think Well said anything about matchmaking, so I don't think we're getting that anytime soon. And I don't understand how, because, you know what, never mind. I'm not gonna go there. But if you know more about that situation somehow, then let me know. But if you agree with this video, then like the video. And if you enjoy my content, then subscribe to become a lighter. Ooh, okay, that was kind of weak, I'm sorry. But other than that, bye bye, lighter.